I cut up, I
Yeah, I got this.
did all those binders. I'm glad they haven't gotten rid of them.
$1 to have it shipped here from China.
With the photos. Nobody does photos anymore.
What?
I think photo albums will make a comeback.
I hope so, because
Do you think that my
I remember I
Here, look at my
handed,
phone.
it's the same thing. I handed people pictures whenever I take a trip, and they'll go, I haven't
Oh, God. So I
photographed
tried to start
years.
writing the nap.
And you can
finish
see
writing
it.
the nap today, and I just couldn't do it. She
Okay,
goes, you need to get into that.
guess we're ready?
Well,
Well, please call the Washington Historic Preservation Commission meeting to order on Monday, April 16th. May we have the roll call, please? I can't read without my glasses.
Carolyn Witt,
Present.
Steve Struberg,
Here.
Ryan Bogue,
Here.
Rick Hop, Danielle Grotwheel,
here.
Jamie Holtmeyer,
Here.
Andrew Clary,
Here.
Bridget Kelch, Joe Holtmeyer,
Here.
Mark Hydrich,
Here.
Susan Waterman,
Here.
Sal Maniaci,
Here.
John McCreary.
Thank you. If you'd all rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I want to say how happy I am to see everybody here. Have the full force of the council. This is good, and the committee, so this is terrific. I hope everyone got a chance to peruse the minutes, the last meeting. Is there any additions or corrections? We have a motion to accept,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last session.
and we have a second.
Second. Sorry.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. New business, architectural treasure hunt. This is an annual, at least it's been for quite some time. Preservation Month is May. So to recognize that, this group has, over the years, some of you as parents may have been corralled into this because, especially when the schools that were close, they would, that was a fun activity in the month of May to walk around downtown and try and find out where the pictures tie into, you get kids to look up and to look at things. So Danielle?
So it's a scavenger hunt. Downtown has been doing the work on it, and then we split the cost of the advertising and the printing between Downtown Washington, this commission, and the Chamber of Commerce. And so we've made it smaller, so it's 16 instead of 20 building pieces that adults have to find. And then I think 4 or 5 years ago, we added the kids hunt, which was a little easier, and then I made it too easy because they were used to doing the adult hunt. So over the past 3 years, we've gotten a really good turn-in. Before that, we were getting like 2 or 3 turned in, and we actually discussed letting it go. So we're going to do that again, and I just wanted to have it on here so that we, Downtown Washington, need help promoting it. We need to get it into the schools, and it can be very difficult to get into the schools if you're not a parent or if you don't know somebody there. And this falls right into our busiest time of the year because we have Winefest also in May. So any help that we could get from you all to get these into the schools, because we want to get them to them before they get out of school, which is also fun. Right now I have Diane Lick, who is a volunteer for downtown, is taking pictures of the buildings because that takes a long time. Carolyn knows, she's volunteered to do that for me before. So
It's good to have somebody new because
it is.
you have a tendency to see the same things because that's what you look at, but new blood, new eyes.
Yeah, one year I took my mom with me, and she found if you stand just right on what is that, 3rd Street, and you're looking at the back of the TS House and Droege House, that there's a face. There's 2 round windows on the Droege House, and then there's a little chimney on the TS House on the back, and no one knew where that one was. That was I always have one ringer that is hard, like really hard. Otherwise, everybody gets them all.
That's right.
So, just a couple of other things that are going on. May is Preservation Month. It's National Preservation Month. Missouri Main Street got a grant from the SHPO to do. They have 2 vehicles wrapped, and they're traveling throughout Missouri for Preservation Month and going to different Missouri communities that are celebrating Preservation Month. I cannot remember which week they're going to be here. I think they're going to be here the week of Winefest. So our preservation activity for Washington is the Haunted History Wagon Tour, because the Architectural Treasure Hunt is a month-long thing, and we can pinpoint the wagon tour a little bit easier. So we are doing the Haunted History Wagon Tours are every Wednesday. We have 3 tours every Wednesday for the rest of April and throughout May. So the reason we're doing these tours is that I suck them in with the ghosts, and then I tell them the history. Because we talk about the Civil War and how Germans impacted. We talk about bricks and corncob pipes and then the whole 9 yards. So if anybody is interested in more information about what Missouri Main Street is doing for Preservation Month, let me know and I can email you all the details.
Danielle, what time are those on Wednesdays?
They are at 6, 7, and 8. And you have to have reservations because they sell out. 12 riders per wagon load, which is at Wine Country Wagon Rides. And if you go to, it's downtown Washmo/haunted, and that has a link to the walking tours that I do on my own, and then also a separate link that takes you to Wine Country Wagon Rides to book the wagon ride. So I'll have a walking tour this coming Friday night at Blues Fest, because I had to reschedule because people thought they were going to get rained on this last Friday night. But I was pretty lucky. Got my whole tour under the awnings at the landing before the first drop of rain fell. Somebody was looking out for me. So
Awesome.
I dress up in my costume and I put a ghoulish face on, and people seem to like it. I try to be a different character, but I'm just me.
If people do not have access to the computer, is there a phone number they can reach?
Yes. So, they could just call me. So 636-239-1743. Or they could come down to the downtown post office, and then we would enter it onto the computer for them at the
Okay.
counter.
All right,
If they don't have a computer.
thank you. I just wanted everybody to
Yeah,
get it.
absolutely.
It's great.
Actually, this time I had some of my regular post office customers, and they didn't recognize me when I walked in. I didn't even have my hat on, and they didn't recognize me.
Wow, that's great.
That's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, my husband told me I was scary, so I was like, okay, well, that's what I was going for, so that's all right. I'm fine with that. It is a haunted
Great.
tour. after
If
all.
you'd let us know when the Main Street are coming.
Right.
it'd be
I will,
nice.
yeah, I will
would be
email.
nice.
They just did a full page ad in Missouri Life magazine. So the haunted tours are in the Missouri Life magazine, and they wanted one building to highlight. So I told them the landing because it's the easiest one, and you can get booze there.
Absolutely.
100 miles an hour.
So
Get scared, you can eat.
yes, see, and that's the cool thing about the walking tours, because with the walking tours are $20 a person. Wagon tours are $25 a person. If you take the walking tour, the first round of drinks at the landing is on me. So,
Nothing on the wagon, huh?
nope. Because once the horses know that there are people in the wagon, they want to go. And there is no stopping once they start going. And now they know the route, and it's fun with the horses.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to the treasure hunt real quick. So I know that it sounds like we have someone commissioned to take photos, which is great. And the next time we meet will be, we'll be pretty far into May. When can we, in order to promote this, when can we pick up or tell them when they could pick up?
I would say they will most definitely be ready by May 1st That's a Tuesday. We normally don't ever hand them out before May 1st. So on May 1st, they will be available at the post office, the chamber, and the library.
And will they be available online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We put them on Downtown Washington's Facebook, which will be I put the Visit Washmo as a co-host, so it'll go on both of those. It'll go on Downtown Washington's website, and it'll also be in the newspaper. We usually get a half-page ad in the newspaper, and we usually buy the Roadblock, which the Roadblock gives us 2 days, and since it's a community project, they let us separate those days instead of doing 2 consecutive days, and that gives a click-through that they can download a PDF. So I print them on 11 by 17 paper because I have 11 by 17 paper, but people who print them out themselves usually just do it on 8.5 by 11, and it fits just fine.
It's really great near the end of school year when sometimes you're running out of things to do in the class. And if it's a nice day to get out, no snow, you can get out and
I can always,
fun activity.
I think Emmanuel did it last year, and you can always tell when the schools are doing it because we're sitting at the post office. I'm like, what is all that noise? And I look out the window, and there's all these little groups of kids. There's like 4 kids and 3 adults trying to keep the kids together on the sidewalks. So
That's not a school, that's just me.
that's just you, yes.
Your
That's just the Clary family.
Here we are.
The Clary family.
That's right, that's right.
And we're taking a walk.
You could have your very own wagon ride. Okay, thank you. And I know it's great. I'm really grateful that someone else, because it is true, looking at the same things, it's hard to see new things. You need new blood, so I'm glad she's doing that. That's
So am I. I'm very glad she's
That's
doing
great.
it.
Okay, old business, International Shoe Factory District. Has heard anything?
Well, the survey, the phase 2 of the survey is still in progress. I talked to the state actually on Friday. They are still in a holding pattern on the grants for phase 3. They haven't been released. They've given their comments to their supervisors, but they haven't released any funds yet. We turned in pretty much the same application we did for phase 1 and phase 2. So if the money's released, I'm sure we'll be included on that. But the good news is I spoke to them about if we don't want to wait, we can go ahead and get the shoe factory registered on its own, and not instead of a district, just get the building itself, because there's actually a development company who, they're not committing to anything, but they said they won't even look at it if it's not on the national registry.
Wow.
And so we're going to get bids from Landmark, and since it's not going to be grant money, we can just do that on our own. So we're going to get bids from Landmark since they already have most of the information. That was part of, the factory was actually part of phase 1. It was at the southern boundary of phase 1. So they already have that info. So we'll try and get that on the registry, at least get a bid from them. And Danielle, do you know how long it normally takes to get something on there? Don't you have to wait quite a while to get it on there?
It takes if I do the preliminary paperwork just to see if it's even eligible, that takes me probably 12 hours total to put together, but then the state office takes 30 days to review it.
Oh, okay, I knew whenever you do a district, you have to wait a year. So
Right, you have to have a year off between your surveys and your actual application.
That's not for buildings.
It is not
Okay.
for individual nominations, no. So it's the 30 days that they have to review it, and it does take, it takes a decent amount of time to actually put together all of the details, but they already have the majority of it, because that is the
That's what
centerpiece
they've
of our
been doing,
district.
Yeah.
And, the reason they want it to be on the National Register, because there's still a lot of education that needs to happen about the National Register of Historic Places. They don't tell you what to do unless you want to use their tax credits. So that's why they want it to be on there. They want the opportunity to use tax credits. So you get to use those tax credits if you follow the rules that the Department of the Interior has set forth as to how to preserve a building. So it gives, between the state and the federal, isn't it like 50%? state is 30% and federal is, or 55%. Federal is a 25% tax credit and state is a 30% tax credit. I mean, it's a,
I thought it was 40 and, I thought the state was 40, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know, but
I think, I'm pretty sure that's what,
it's a
worth-
substantial, it's a
Langenberg,
substantial
I'm pretty sure
number.
they got 40%, Langenberg Hat Building, I think.
Yeah, it's a substantial amount. So, because there's a lot of people who are like, I don't want to be on the National Register and don't put me in that district. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. We're not here to tell you what to do. But if you want to do something and follow the rules, then you can get a tax credit. It's really only a win-win. It's an honor to be on the National Register. There are no National Register police that are going to come and tell you what to do with your house
Yeah,
or your building.
The other day, I got a call from the people who moved that game shop in there, and they're in the design review, but they're not in an actual district. It's non, it's not a registered building. But when we told them they were in the design review, when you guys all got that sign, the owner called, freaked out because he thought he was in a historic district, and that meant he was restrained to what he could do to the building. And so, once you explain it to them how it actually works, they're fine with being in the district.
Yeah, I think most people, when they think of a historic district, first thing that pops into their mind is Main Street, St. Charles, Webster, Kirkwood. Those are all city ordinances. Those are all, Webster has design standards. You can't paint your house certain colors and all of that stuff. So, and I think that one day I hope we'll have design standards. That would be nice. But I don't think we're ever going to want to tell somebody what color they can paint their house.
We'd never have,
We just don't want you to tear stuff down.
exactly, so,
We're kind of easy like that.
that's right, that's right. Okay, well, that's exciting. That's kind of been a long process, and not to the end yet. Okay, education, digitizing Missouri's German heritage. Danielle found out about this.
So the Missouri Humanities Council got I think it's the only one. So they got a majority population recognized, which is the German Heritage Corridor. And the Germans were the majority population that settled the area along the Missouri River. So along with that, they are going through and they're doing a lot of German education, German history education. So they are in Herman, they are having digitizing Missouri's German history heritage. So you bring items, paperwork and whatever, and they will teach us how to digitize them. So I asked Mary Sayers at the SHPO, because we are always looking for our ways to fulfill our education that aren't like 3 or 4 day trainings. And she said, yes, we could count this if we volunteered at the museum to help them digitize. So the museum already has a scanning program that they work with. For us, it'd be really nice if, that she wants each one of us to put in, did she say 8 or 16?
16.
Yeah,
16 hours at the museum for this to count.
Wow.
3-day workshop.
And right. So I tried to talk her down on the amount of hours. But this would be a lot easier than the last thing I asked you to do at the museum, because you don't have to look for anything. You just have to take off the pile and put it on the scanner and let it scan. So
Yes.
because they have,
16 hours is a long time.
they have thousands of photos, and they have all the building permits from 1910 through like 1967. Well, not all of them, the ones that didn't get lost or thrown away. So I would love for those to be digitized, because I can't touch the originals because I'm allergic to ammonia and they're mimeographed. So they would also be a lot easier to search
Yes.
if we could get them digitized, and then an intern of some sort can catalog them.
Yes.
And if you really enjoy it, you can come down to our office and scan more drawings.
You'd be-
Anytime you want.
Once you master the skill.
If anybody
They only require
was
8
to
hours.
scan stuff.
That's right, that's right.
And then once you're done at Steve's office, you can come over to downtown Washington. I have 5 milk crates full of newspaper clippings that need to be scanned.
Oh,
So,
Just
because
gonna
that's the proper storage method for newspaper clippings is milk crate.
Okay,
Well, if anyone decides to do that, just make sure you let Jamie know, because we'll have to put it in our annual report.
Yes. Speaking of well, just since this happened to come up with it, I think Danielle and I and Brian were at the Main Street, and so we need to get something to Jamie to let her know that we participated in the National Main Street meeting that was held in Kansas City.
So you need to know
Anybody else?
the details about it and a
You were there.
summary of
Yeah,
what we
it's
did.
not, you don't need a summary of each session. It's just
Not just a summary of the thing.
Yeah, yes.
Sal went too.
You
Yeah,
could
Sal
pro-
went to-
Yeah,
So,
but I'm not required to get one training. I mean,
I know.
we're covered. So you all are supposed to be the one who's supposed to get one training.
But that way, so you just need the overall of what the,
Yeah, you
What
could
the
honestly
thing
use the
was.
similar summary from last year. It's just meant that you guys went,
right,
so.
okay.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, right, Party City. Okay, Curb Appeal Award. Yeah, we're still in the, it's still a little
Been
nippy.
cold.
Been a little
The
nippy.
sun is shining, this is promising.
Yes,
so.
yes, that's hope. Maybe next month with the Historic Preservation, we can, and I've still got the This Place Matters signs.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody wants to have a picture,
Oh, yeah, we're supposed to do curb appeal.
Yeah,
we could
it'll be
do
fine.
that.
We'll be fine.
Okay, that's great, and there's nothing on the Creating New
yeah.
History. Oh, history is being made downtown all the time.
Yeah, once that's done, we can, I'm sure we can nominate
Absolutely,
that
that's
condo building there, so.
right, and Marquart's. It'll be interesting to see how that,
Yeah.
So do we
Well,
do
that one actually would
That'd be
qualify for the curb appeal.
'cause
Yeah.
it
it's-
would,
it's
because
a
it's
historic
old.
building.
That's right,
Yeah.
it's not new, it's old.
Yeah, and it's gonna be unique curb appeal because he's gonna have patio seating on Front Street, so it wouldn't be just the landscaping we normally see.
Right.
But
That'd
still
be
curb
awesome.
appeal.
Well, two things that come to mind is Brian Haynes' building,
Yeah.
and the other one is Tony's, down here, that she's going
Yep.
to have the wine garden.
Yeah, she's getting ready to put in a
That's at,
very,
Lafayette
very
and
massive
4th.
wine garden.
Was old Buck Stanley's house?
It is the Henry J. Bohr House.
See, I don't know. I only know as far as Buck.
That's it. That's
That was
it. It's
Bucktown.
it's individually nominated, and that the only reason I know is because I found the paperwork for them. It's the Henry J. Bohr House on the National Register.
See, that'd be great. So those would be two good ones to start out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are, though poor Brian doesn't have anywhere to put it. Maybe in his window.
Well, we could do what he has a bucket of sand that he keeps, and that's what we did for the house tour. Different Haynes, but also on Cedar Street, Beth Haynes and her husband.
On Cedar.
Yeah, they ripped all that ugly
Oh.
Yeah.
brick
Oh,
stone stuff off, and they're painting it gray.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not done yet, though.
Yeah, that's in work in progress.
Brent
That's
Kushner's working
that's
on
goes to
that
the
house
watch list.
next to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and the one
Boy.
on Locust Street,
220
Planning
Jefferson.
and zoning.
the one
The
that
old
first
inn.
started. Don't you know the people who own that?
They
They
came
came
here.
here.
They
Yeah,
came
so-
here, yeah.
We're gonna do some
I
massive.
like the new windows.
We just did it at the end of last
Yes,
year.
it
so
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
We have a pretty significant list.
We do. We have some that are overdue.
Yes.
And I would like to get to them first.
That's great.
We have some that are like years overdue.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Do we need to vote on any now so we can go ahead and just get it? I mean, it's almost May.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you do them all at once? Or
Well, if you come up with,
That's,
if you just shoot us an email.
Yeah, how do you want to proceed? How do you want to make sure that we have how do you want to see the list and how do you want to vote, or do we even vote? Like,
We do
how does
vote.
it work?
We do vote. So Jeannie prefers, however many we want to do, she prefers to do them all at one time. We take a picture, go to the next place, take a picture, go to the next place, and then the Missourian will spread them out
Okay.
as far as publishing
Do we
them.
need the owners?
We do need the owners. Well, we don't need them, but we prefer to have them.
Well, we only
invite
have
them.
how many
Invite
signs?
them.
Well, we have, yeah.
We have 2 or
and then we
3?
stick-
Two signs?
We only have 2 signs, so we can only put 2 signs out at a time to rotate them. But we can get all the pictures taken with Jeannie.
Exactly.
Because the picture doesn't always correspond when the sign is in the yard.
That's true.
Just make sure that you bring extra clothes so you can change outfits.
I know. Who was
Different
it?
tie.
There was somebody, and he took his coat off, and then he put it back. I think it was LB or somebody, and it was like, oh, you've got to be kidding. This is pretty funny. Or Buzzy. It was funny, yeah, because it's like, wait, I got to take my coat off. Okay. I'm the same old boring here.
Could we get like the list ahead of like the next meeting so we got time to drive around
Absolutely.
and see these?
Absolutely.
Then we
And then we
vote.
can just put it in
Well-
order of who's waited the longest.
We'll talk this week and probably get it out to you guys this
That'd be great.
So-
Like, we have a list. We
Yeah,
actually have.
that'd be
We'll
great.
we'll put a comment on the agenda for curb appeal nominations.
Yes.
That'd be good. And I do appreciate everybody getting back to Jamie when she asked about the sign last week.
Mostly me.
Was it, that you sent the email out?
On which one?
Yeah, Friday on the
Yeah,
Ames
which-
store.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was good because,
The dealer,
but there's, when you don't have, like, there was no time. So it was really great to be able to do that.
4 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah, right, right.
Last
Ouch.
time.
So it was really good. I appreciate everybody getting back to her. So that way she had a consensus. Okay, I think the Jasper House is still kind of on hold.
I
waiting
think
to
that it may
see.
be talked about tonight at council, so we'll let you know.
Ah, well, we have new
Great.
blood, so it'll be interesting to see.
Like, should some of us hang out?
No, it will be executive session, but I think,
Executive session, okay.
I think that was
I
the
don't know
third
what
item we
day
had,
it is.
so.
That'd be good. Well, if you need any help from us,
Yeah.
let us know.
I think I think we're gonna decide if it's gonna go out to bid for sale, not to bid, just open market for sale.
Right. Well, that's a step in the right direction. Budget report, I don't think there's been any changes.
We have not spent any money in the last month. On Friday, I got the form, the state wants us to request our reimbursement, so we'll do that for the first payment. I always prefer just to do it all, wait till the end, because it's all budgeted anyway for us, but
Right.
they like they don't want to hold on to the money, I guess, in case it gets taken, so.
That's true.
They want to, anytime you spend money, they want us to reimburse it, so they made us turn in a reimbursement request for $0 on the first quarter. Yeah,
Yeah,
so, but now that we've spent 5,000, we'll get
right.
we'll get it out, I'll give that to you tomorrow.
That's good.
So,
Get that moving. We're passing in informational plaques currently this year. We're kind of letting that slide.
Did we
No,
put up all the ones we had?
No,
well, we dispersed them, I don't know if they're
Right.
up.
The chamber,
Because the chamber wanted to put their own up.
Yeah.
yeah, they
Not up
they
yet.
have
and Brian
They have
Haynes.
theirs.
and Brian Haynes building, and the building owner has that one.
Yeah, we don't have any here.
Okay,
Those were the only two, and we gave them out, so
Yeah.
awesome.
they're in their hands.
Well, I'll try and drop by and say, do you have your plaques?
I gave one of them to Rick, so he may.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, Rick gave it to, didn't Rick give it to the chamber?
Rick gave it to Danny Cassette. Danny Cassette doesn't want anybody but him to put it on the building.
There you go.
He wants to put it on himself.
That's fine.
Well, that's
I'm
fine,
like,
but
go for it.
yeah,
That's not a requirement for us to put it up. Just put it on the front.
right? So then we can come and smile. Okay, conferences, the only one I know of that's coming up is in May, and I'm not sure of the dates. It's in Sedalia. It's the Missouri Preservation Conference.
That would be during Winefest.
Oh, naturally. That seems to be a hot week. So probably nobody will go, but Sedalia is interesting. Was the headquarters for the Katy Railroad, and they had huge yards there, and they've still got some of the original buildings, and they have this editorial. They have this magnificent Carnegie Library. It sits in the middle of a block. It's in a park, and it's just white, and it's gorgeous. And they had water damage about 4 or 5 years ago, and they passed a tax to fix the library, and it won like.
Wait a minute, Sedalia fixed something?
It was amazing, and I salute those people because
Awesome.
they
Yeah.
stood up and raised the money to fix it, and it is a magnificent building. If you ever have an opportunity to visit it, of course, that's my thing. But, anyway, there's a lot historic in Sedalia, and the fair, the state fair. I think a lot of the buildings out at the state fair have been
Are
around
historic.
a
Yeah,
long
they're
time.
historic buildings.
So, I mean, there's a variety of different historic things to hit. So if anybody has any interest, they could look into that, Missouri Preservation. Calvin Theater, I don't think, that's just on there to keep it alive and well.
Well, alive anyway.
Well, alive anyway.
Still falling down.
That's the one I'd like to see a picture of. This place matters,
Yeah.
but, you hate to tip the balance. It's a very fragile thing there, and you wouldn't want to aggravate anybody, but at the same time, that fits. Is there any other business? Do you gentlemen know if, or lady, if you're going to
Lady.
remain with us?
That usually isn't until next month, right?
No, I think,
The nominations are tonight. They're on the agenda tonight.
Are they?
yeah, at the end.
It's usually, the mayor usually the next meeting, not.
Yeah,
after the next
tonight she'll tell everybody to think about it and then let her
The
know
next
and then
meeting.
next meet, yeah,
Ah,
I think.
See, I only been here 8 years, so I don't know.
yeah, the old timer there. Of course,
See, the
Mark's getting up
the
there,
question
too.
is do you want to stay with us?
Yes, we would,
Oh, you're putting us on the spot, huh?
well, we would be very happy if you chose to remain.
You don't have
She'll
to.
ask if we want to stay. If we want to, we will.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, you just roll into your next meeting, so it's,
That is a-
not a separate night.
It's a bonus.
It assures your timely presence at the next meeting.
Yes, yes. And we're
can't beat
very,
that.
we're very grateful to see your smiling faces, because if an issue did come up, it's really nice to know that you know what we're talking about. And so, and if there are any questions that we're not there to handle, at least you can speak with authority, because you can say, I heard them talk about this. So we count on you
Yeah, I'm on.
and are grateful.
I'm on this Historic Society plus this one plus downtown, so it all
I know, you're very busy.
comes into
Yes,
play.
and there's an awful lot of overlap,
Yeah.
which is, do that. Okay.
And I'm just a newcomer at this, so I don't know too much about it.
I,
You're all right.
I do have one other business item, just because it's finally on the agenda tonight. Do you remember, it's on here, December 21st of 16, so it was a while ago. We had to have a special meeting because we were we were told we needed to have the historic preservation sign off on the downtown rehabilitation program for Langenberg Hat.
Right?
There ended up being a quitclaim deed issue, so it got pulled from the next, council looked at it in February, and then there were some quitclaim deed issues. Got that all resolved. It only took a year, and it is on council tonight. So it's this, I'm not going to do the whole presentation, but if you remember the plan, first floor remodel, that's what's under there now, Southside Taco, and then 6 apartments.
I believe now they're going to be calling it Street Side Taco. It went from South Side to Front Street to Street Side.
Well, whatever it's called. It's
Taco
opening in
place.
June.
Tacos.
And tacos. And it's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I'm
And
pretty
it's gonna be
excited about
the
it.
first time, we implemented this program in 2012, and no one's utilized it, and it's a great program.
It really is.
It doesn't take, it's great for the city because it doesn't take any more taxing away from the taxing entities. It just reallocates the TIF funds that you already approved, and gets us almost like a subcontract for those funds that you approved back in 2010. So there's no issue with any of the taxing entities having, you're not taxing anybody anymore, not giving any more benefits away. You're just reallocating the funds. And it helps people with facade improvements, upstairs residential, if they want to do office space upstairs.
So this is the one that saves you on your increase in property taxes as a
Yes.
result of your project.
So any additional increase, I got a little, so it utilizes the existing TIF. So it's frozen in 2007 level from when I think it's 2007, when we first approved the downtown Washington TIF with Bank of Washington. Right now, any increase in that, 85% goes to the developer and 15 goes to the city, and both groups have to use it in the district. With this program, a specific building owner can, if it's historic, can fall under like or they can piggyback on 5 different programs. And you can only get up to 3 of them on piggybacking. And Rick is taking advantage of 2 of them. And any increase, so after he's done, any increase in property taxes, he can abate, and with the programs he's doing, up to $70,000. But it increases it'll freeze it again at 2017 or 2018 levels. So any increase from 18 up, he can then capture those and rebate up to $70,000, because if you're updating the facade, you can get up to $40,000, and if you're doing upstairs residential, you can get up to $30,000. And it's not all at once. You have to. It's 80% of the increase in that real estate taxes, and then you can keep collecting on that 80% of that each year until one or two things happens. You either cap out at that $70,000 based on the program, or the TIF sunsets. So there's 12 years left on the TIF, and he's that property will have enough increase in property value, because it was nothing beforehand, and he's doing, with what he's doing, he'll be able to max out well before the sunset. So, again, I'm hoping that this will kind of shed some light on it, and some other people will look at this program and want to take advantage of it, because it has to be an active TIF, and so people only have 12 years to take advantage of this.
Well, to add to that category, that hope category, so today I asked Sal to send me a file for the downtown building rehab program that I could take verbiage from. I'm currently writing again. This is the same grant that I wrote last year. It's a $500,000 grant for the neighborhood assistance program. So hopefully this piggybacked, if those two things piggyback together, that is for, it's a low interest facade renovation loan, where they can get a low-interest loan for up to 80% of their facade renovation. And our definition of facade renovation is from window replacement, cornice replacement, tuck pointing, anything that impacts the facade of a building.
It's very broad.
I'm making it as broad as we possibly can, but it'll be great to piggyback with this program, and hopefully this program will get utilized more if we have funding, the loan funding to go with it.
And that's any building in a historic district?
Not in a historic district. It has to be the downtown district for ours. Because, well, I shouldn't say that. The boundaries for NAP, because they don't really care about historic district. It's through the DED, the Missouri Department of Economic Development. So the borders for the NAP are Front to Fifth, Market to High. So it has to be within that square to qualify, and it has to be a commercial or multi-use. It cannot be strictly residential. So what we're hoping is that if people get this, take advantage of this low-interest loan program to improve their facade, then they can tap into this building rehab program to do residential upstairs. Because we have a lot of people who are, or office space, we have a lot of people who are starting to actually listen a little bit more about their upstairs. So, and if we can get some of them to sell their buildings to people who are, that'd be even better.
Right.
That would be good.
And again, since this has to be an active TIF, the reason I say there's only 12 years left on the downtown TIF, and those are the buildings that qualify. I mean, we do have, obviously, the Rhine River TIF and the Front Street TIF that just got started, but when those TIF districts were created, it was specifically for vacant property. And so this has to be for rehabilitation. So nothing in those districts would qualify. So there's only 12 years left on this program, and it wouldn't come back into effect unless we started a new TIF.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
It would be a shame to see it go by and not be used.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Well, if there is no other business,
I have
the,
a reminder for you.
yes,
The mayor's proclamation for Historic Preservation Month will be given May 7th at the council meeting.
okay,
So we need the May 7th council meeting.
right. If anybody would like to be here, I'll try and be here. If anybody else wishes to attend, we can
We'll be here.
have well, I know, we can have a photo op. Historic preservation, that's terrific. Okay, here. Terrific. Okay, the next meeting will be Monday, May 21st at 6 p.m., same time, same place. We don't have any Monday changes, any Monday meetings for a while. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Is there a
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. You add greatly to the ambiance, I'll tell you. Your sartorial excellence.
You brought the ambiance.
Yeah, the ambiance.
We didn't have any.
As much as
Very happy.